This is what home looks like for 200,000 foreign workers who live in government-licensed dormitories. Migrants account for 85% of all COVID-19 cases here. Al Jazeera spoke on the phone to a migrant worker living in one of the dormitories. He asked not to be identified for fear of being sacked.
19 people together, all the people together, 150 people use the one toilet.
He's tested negative, but still worries about contracting the virus.
My near room, all people affected already. My near room had four room affected, used to one toilet, one washroom, like that.
An academic in New Zealand who's done research on migrant workers in Singapore says the inability to maintain physical distancing can cause a worker's health to suffer.
Workers are very well aware of the kinds of behaviors they need to practice. It is simply that structurally they are unable to practice those behaviors. There is a great deal of anxiety and fear that the workers express.
Thousands of healthy or recovered workers have been moved to floating hotels or military barracks to curb the spread of the coronavirus. The Singapore government, which already has one of the highest testing rates in the world, is planning to boost its capacity to 40,000 tests a day. The Manpower Minister has promised to improve the dormitories as soon as the virus crisis eases. But a migrant workers' rights group says living conditions are a sign of a much bigger problem.
Singapore tends to treat migrant workers as outsiders, even though they are living and working among us. We don't expect that they should enjoy the same housing conditions as we do as Singaporeans. But also, we don't expect them to enjoy the same salaries as we do for the same work. We don't expect them to have the same access to medical care that we as citizens do. And all this makes the problem worse.
He says workers are often penalised by employers for being absent, which could have deterred some from seeking medical attention. About 20% of Singapore's population are foreign workers. They are in relatively low-paying jobs, such as construction and manufacturing. The city-state doesn't have a minimum wage. Activists say the government not only needs to re-examine its reliance on cheap imported labour, but also the level of protection workers have. Florence, Looi, Al Jazeera.